Hey Flyer family, Miss Andrea here with Zen, and we are super excited that today we are going to read you a story about rocks. For those who don't know, Miss Andrea loves rocks, and I have tons and tons. When I was a little kid, I used to collect as many as I could, and I would call them my treasures. So today we're going to read this book. It's called Everybody Needs a Rock, and it's by Bird Baylor with pictures by Peter Parnell. And to get started, there's a picture of a big rock and a dedication that says this is Jesse's book. Everybody needs a rock. I'm sorry for kids who don't have a rock for a friend. I'm sorry for kids who only have tricycles, bicycles, horses, elephants, goldfish, three-room playhouses, fire engines, wind-up dragons, and things like that. If they don't have a rock for a friend. That's why I'm giving them my own 10 rules for finding a rock. And not just any rock, I mean. A special rock. That you find yourself and keep as long as you can. Maybe forever. If somebody says, what's so special about that rock? Don't even tell them. I don't. Nobody's supposed to know what's special about another person's rock. All right, here are the rules. Rule number 1. If you can, go to a mountain made out of nothing but 100 million small, shiny, beautiful, roundish rocks. But if you can't, any place will do. Even an alley, even a sandy road. Rule number 2. When you're looking at rocks, don't let mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers or even best friends talk to you. You should choose a rock when everything is quiet. Don't let dogs bark at you or bees buzz at you. But if they do, don't worry. The worst thing you can do is go rock hunting when you are worried. Rule number 3. Bend over. More. Even more. You may have to sit on the ground with your head almost touching the earth. You have to look a rock right in the eye. Otherwise, don't blame me if you can't find a good one. Rule number 4, don't get a rock that is too big. You'll always be sorry. It won't fit in your hand right, and it won't fit in your pocket. A rock as big as an apple is too big. A rock as big as a horse is much too big. Rule number 5, don't choose a rock that is too small. It will only be easy to lose, or a mouse might eat it thinking that it's a seed. Believe me, that happened to a boy in the state of Arizona. Rule number 6, the size must be perfect. It has to feel easy in your hand when you close your fingers over it. It has to feel jumpy in your pocket when you run. Some people touch a rock 1,000 times a day. There aren't many things that feel as good as a rock if the rock is perfect. Rule number 7, look for the perfect color. That could be a sort of pinkish gray with bits of silvery shine in it. Some rocks that look brown are really other colors, but you only see them when you squint and when the sun is right. Another way to see colors is to dip your rock in a clear mountain stream if one is passing by. Rule number 8, the shape of the rock is up to you. There's a girl in Alaska who only likes flat rocks. Don't ask me why. I like them lumpy. The thing to remember about shapes is this. Any rock looks good with 100 other rocks around it on a hill. But if your rock is going to be special, it should look good by itself in the bathtub. Rule number 9. Always sniff a rock. Rocks have their own smells. Some kids can tell by sniffing a rock whether the rock came from the middle of the earth or from an ocean or from a mountain where wind and sun touched it every day for 1,000,000 years. You'll find out that grown-ups can't tell these things. Too bad for them. They just can't smell as well as kids can. Rule number 10. Don't ask anybody to help you choose. I've seen a lizard pick one rock out of a desert full of rocks and go sit there alone. I've seen a snail pass up 20 rocks and spend all day getting to the one it wanted. You have to make up your own mind. You'll know. All right, that's 10 rules. If you think of any more, write them down yourself. I'm going out to play a game that takes just me and one rock to play. I happen to have a rock here in my hand. The end of Everybody Needs a Rock. And so I'm just going to show you a couple rocks that I have that I just was able to get within my house or my yard. And so here's a rock that I have that is like a fossil rock. I can't remember where I got this one from, but it's kind of shiny. You can see that it shimmers as I move it in the light. This one's kind of interesting because it's something that looks like a shell, but it's actually a rock. Then I have a rock that's painted. So this is a rock that I found that I painted a sun on. It's pretty flat. You can also see that some of the paint is smearing off. That happens sometimes. It's still fun to paint them. Another rock that I have is a gemstone. This is a piece of carnelian. And so this is a gemstone that was tumbled. That's why it's really smooth. It's kind of small and round. You can see there's little spots of different color where it's a little bit darker. Another rock that I have that was sort of processed. This is a rock that's a heart, and you can tell it has a rainbow of colors in it. And this one is actually different types of rock that were pieced together. So it's something that was made from lots of different rocks so that it could be lots of different colors. And it also is cut, so you can see that there's a cut in it where they made it into the heart. And it's also shiny because it's also one that's finished. And then the last one is actually the one that I like the best, which is one that I found outside. And this one has some different little spots on it. It's bumpy and lumpy. It's a little bit more rough than smooth. This is a rock where if I get it wet, it might change color a little and look a little bit darker because it's just a rock. So now it's your turn. Where can you find a rock? Do you have rocks already? Is a rock something that you paid attention to? If not, that's your next step. Where can you find a rock? There might be rocks outside. You might go for a walk and find a rock. But rocks are fun. They're all different types. See what happens when you get it wet. See what happens when you look for rocks of different types of material. See if you like the feel of a rough or a smooth rock better. Let us know what you find. Show us a picture if you want. Or just like in the book, you could keep it to yourself. Either way, have fun.